Alright, so last night I took out Phenax, played in a couple games, and he was woefully unsatisfying. Some of my decks have been doing this lately, and I've been trying to put my finger on what has changed in the game. What is different? And what I've come up with is the setup phase is a lot shorter than it used to be. So Phenax, he's from 2014. So I must have had him since at least 2014, 2015. So either 10 or 9 years. Shut it, Max. Max, shut it. And when I first built him, the setup phase could last for 4 to 5 turns. So the first 4 to 5 turns, people aren't really doing anything. They're ramping, playing mana rocks, getting their setup creatures. They're not doing more or less anything relevant in the game as they're setting up. They're not having any big threats coming out. They're not playing anything crazy. But that's no longer the case. Now, instead of the setup phase being 4 or 5 turns, the setup phase seems to be 2 or 3 turns. And for a deck like Phenax, that's significant. So with Phenax, what I'm trying to do is mill people. So he's a 3, 1 black, 1 blue, 4/7 enchantment god. My devotion has to be 7 to black and blue. He's indestructible. Creatures I control have tap. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into their graveyard, or X to the creatures. So you mill people for the toughness of your creatures. So I built the deck with a lot of high toughness creatures with the intention of milling everybody out. It usually doesn't work that way though. Let me put Phenax here. Can you still see him? Let me move this so you can see Phenax. Phenax, you going to stand up there? There we go. There we go. But the deck is really, it's a combo deck. So if I'm honest with myself, most of the ways I've won have been with some flavor of Dimir Guildmage combo. Let me show you what he is so you can see what I mean. Or Eater of the Dead, but he's a combo by himself. Duskmantle Guildmage, not Dimir Guildmage. Where is the other part of the combo? Yeah, the cat's going crazy. Anybody with cats, you know, they just go nuts sometimes. So the deck would typically win with Mindcrank. Whenever an opponent loses life, they put that many cards in the top of the library into their graveyard, and Dimir Guildmage. So I'd play Guildmage with Mindcrank out. In some way, you have both of them in play. It doesn't really matter which one comes on first. But usually I would not play Guildmage unless I had 5 mana to cast him and then activate him. Whenever a card is put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere this turn, the player loses 1 life. So I would have some creature, Phenax out, mill them. So as soon as any card goes in their graveyard, they lose a life. Whenever they lose a life, they mill. So it creates a vicious cycle, creates an endless loop, and just burns their library down. I can also do that with Blood Chief Ascension. So if it has 3 quest counters on it, whenever a card is put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if it has 3 or more quest counters on it, I may have the player lose 2 life, and if you do, you gain 2 life. So once they start losing life, they start milling. And then whenever the cards go in the graveyard, they lose life. And so you can see where this is going. So Mindcrank and one of these was the chief combo. And if I'm, like I said, if I'm honest with myself, that's the way this deck wins. It is a combo deck. Or if somebody has a creature heavy deck, or if there's enough creatures in their graveyard, I can use Eater of the Dead and Phenax. So if I have Eater of the Dead and Phenax out, so let's say somebody has 3 creatures in their graveyard. Okay, I will mill you for 4. His toughness is 4. Phenax is out. You put 4 more cards in your graveyard. Eater of the Dead will exile one of your creatures and untap. Then I will mill you for 4. Eater of the Dead will eat one of your creatures. And so this is the other combo. And then everything else is supposed to support that. Everything else was supposed to be something that could defend me, be something with a high toughness, so I can mill people. But my setup phase is still in that mindset of 4 to 5 turns of setup, which I no longer have. Last night I saw that definitively, in thinking about it, people are doing relevant things in the first couple turns, and Phenax just can't keep up. I could make it more of a spell deck, make it more in line with the God of Deception. I have more spell like Traumatize, put my, whatever the hell it is, the enchantment whenever opponent plays a spell, they put the top 2 cards library, more things like that, and just protection. But I don't want to do that. I want to play as creatures. And also, if I'm relying on passive effects and spells, I think it's easier to disrupt me. So Phenax, I think the deck itself is still viable, but it needs an overhaul. It doesn't need fine-tuning. I already tried that. It's not working right. It needs an overhaul. So what I'm going to do is just separate everything by CMC and see what I have. And I bet I'm going to have too much at the top end. And then after I filter by CMC, unless I do it as I'm going through it, I'll take out things that just don't work anymore. So Consecrated Sphinx, 6, still good. Whenever an opponent draws a card, I may draw 2 cards. Okay, Heuristic Study, that's always good. Nemesis of Reason, 5. Evil Twin, 4. Try to get this on camera so you can see the piles. Rings of Bright Hearth, that's 3. Lazav, 4. Ashiok, 3. Disallow, 3. Jace Memory Depth, 5. And I don't think Jace is going to work in the deck the way I want to build it. So he's a bit too passive. So 5, I spend 5 on him, and I can either draw a card each turn for 5, which isn't bad. It was good years ago. I don't think it's good anymore. Draw a card, target player puts top card of his or library, or target player puts top 10 cards. It's a bit too slow when I'm trying to mill out 2 or 3 other lads. In this, any number of target players each draw 20 cards, his ultimate, I've never done that. Riddle Keeper, okay, 3. Tree of Perdition. I don't know if I like this anymore. I've only had it in play a couple times, and it gets killed pretty quickly. People can really see what's coming. So, and it can't attack. It can't do anything else. So I'm not sure if it's going to be worth a slot at the end. Lightning Greaves. Okay, that's 2. Let's put the 2s up here. Sword of Body and Mind. This is a funny sword. It goes in completely different directions. So Crypt Creature gives +2/+2 protection from blue and green. Whenever it connects, I put a 2/2 green wolf token into play, and the player that got hit puts top 10 cards of the library into the graveyard. Excuse me. So it's in Phenax because of the mill 10. It could just as easily be in Voya because create wolves. But in Voya, I don't care about the mill 10. Just like in Phenax, I don't quite care about the wolves. They do give me more cards, more creatures to mill with the Phenax out. So 3. Dimir Signet, 2. Memory Lapse, 2. The reason I have Memory Lapse is it should be obvious to more experienced players, but the idea is, so I counter the spell and then I mill it away. So it only costs 1 blue and then 1 color. So if I have blue-black, I can Memory Lapse somebody, and then I can mill them with some milling effect, and whatever card get put on top of the library gets put in the graveyard. Counterspell, Crystal Shard, Liquatus. The idea here is I've got kind of an early creature, but early is now turn 1 or 2, not turn 4 or 5 like it used to be. And if I've got the Cabal Coffers and Urborg out especially, I can dump mana into him and mill people. Plus he's got a high toughness, so he works with Phenax. Fate Stitcher, mainly in here to untap a creature so I can mill some more. Glenelender Liege, mainly in here to turn on Phenax and to give my creatures a higher toughness so I can mill some more. In any case, it's a pretty good card. Walking Atlas, way to get more lands onto the battlefield. It's 2 Talisman of Dominance. It's 2 Gilded Lotus. It's probably too slow now. This should probably be Arcane Signet. Rexiel, the Risen Deep, Island Walk, Swamp Walk, 5/8. Whenever he hits a player, I can cast an instant sorcery card from the graveyard without paying the mana cost, and the card would be exiled afterwards. I'll probably want to keep him. This is the new edition when I was trying to tune the deck. So I took out Jace's Mindseeker because it just wasn't doing enough. Put in Lawan. It really only punishes other people playing blue, but it punishes them pretty harshly. They balance all their blue creatures to their hands, and they can't play blue creature spells when she's in play. Doppelganger, exile card from graveyard, and she becomes a copy of it. Mind Shrieker. This is always funny. Target player puts the top card of their library in the graveyard, and it gets +X till end of turn, where X is that card's CMC. Sometimes I just hit a land, and I think, that sucks. Let me spend another 2 and see what else I get. Sometimes it's something big. Usually, it's something about 4 or 5, which is in line with most people's decks. Alter the Brood. The only card from Cons worth anything other than the fetch lands. It comes down early if I draw it, and I did draw it last night, and it just kind of sits there and just kind of pokes people. I'm not sure if sitting there poking people is going to be worth a slot. Let me put the ones here. There won't be that many. Life's Finale. I think this is my only board wipe. I should probably put more in. 6, Cavern Harpy. Cavern Harpy is here because I have Intruder Alarm. Excuse me. The idea with Intruder Alarm is that, so creatures don't untap unless another creature comes into play. So I mill somebody, then I play the Cavern Harpy with Intruder Alarm out, and all my creatures untap and I can mill again. But I'm not sure how much of that strategy I'm going to keep. I need to really think about that. Beacon of Rest, this is fantastic in the mill deck. Probably what I should do is make it more of a fun creature deck, and maybe make the milling not get rid of it, but so the creatures I have, Psychic Strike, Counter Target Spell, is called to put stop to cards of your library into the graveyard. Creatures with high toughness, and that was the theme. I was choosing creatures more based on their toughness. I need to choose more creatures based on the abilities on the things they provide me. Ruin Crab, Landfall. Whenever land comes to play, each opponent mills 3 cards. Morphling. He's good in this deck when I can get him out. So he costs 5. But I can spend blue and untap him. So if I've got Phenax out and some blue, I can give him the -1/+1, make him, a couple times, make him a 0/5, tap him, mill for 5, spend blue, untap him, tap him, mill for 5. Morphling will stay. He's just fun. Friction Metamorph, copy a creature or artifact, any on the battlefield. Charax the Raging Isle, really, really tough. And he's got Ward 2 for spells. And I can make him more powerful at the expense of his toughness. Time warp, take another turn, 1,000-year elixir. The idea with this is that it gives my creature pseudo haste. So if I've got Phenax out, he's giving them this ability of tap target player mills according to the toughness of the creature I'm tapping. This gives them that ability immediately, and I can untap a creature. I'll have to think about that. Bellicron. Mainly in here to untap my lands. Not sure if he'll make the final cut, so 7. I'll put 7 there. Soul Ring. Scarab God. Maybe I should do something more with zombies, because at the beginning of upkeep, each opponent loses X life and I scry X, where that's the number of zombies I control. And I can exile creature cards and create zombies. Like I said, I really need to think about this. Teferi, Mage of Zhalfir. He's flashy. My creatures have flash, and my opponents can only play cards as sorceries, so more reactive. Expedition Map, Memory Plunder. It's worked before. Just something to keep in my hand. Instantly play an instant sorcery in an opponent's graveyard for free. That's 4. Thrix, this is the other recent change where I tried to tune it up. 5. Arcanus the Omnipotent. Yeah, I'm definitely on the heavy end of the scale, and I need to cut out some of the higher cards. But Arcanus, so he gives 3 devotion to Phenax and to Nykthos. And he draws cards, and I can bounce him. He does a lot, but I might need to cut things. I'm cutting this. I've never had it in play. I don't think it'd be relevant if I did have it in play. Excuse me. Because there's so few creatures that this would matter on. If I put this on Cherix, and I mill for 17, untap it, mill for another 17, that's significant, but that's only one creature out of all these that it really matters with. I mean, if I put it on Arcanus, I can draw 3 cards, untap him, and draw 3 more cards, but 1,000-year elixir and Fate Stitcher let me untap permanents too, so, and then when the creature dies, of course, freed from the real, goes to the graveyard and stays there because I don't have a way of bringing enchantments back. Boots. Spellbomb. Oh, if I'm milling people, sometimes I need to get rid of the graveyard. Equilibrium. Whenever I cast a creature spell successfully, whenever a creature comes into play, whenever I cast a creature and it enters the battlefield, I can pay 1 to return a creature to owner's hand. So if I tax myself, I can bounce creatures. King Makar, this guy's great. He's definitely a threat and people don't like him. So he comes into play, and if I've got 1,000-year elixir, I can tap him immediately, mill for 3, and then when he untaps, exile any creature I want, and I get a treasure token out of it. So usually he gets targeted pretty quickly. Intrude Alarm, that's what I talked about. Maddening Cacophony. So I would not play this unless I had 6 to traumatize all of my opponents. So it pretty much costs 6. I'll put it in the 6 pile. So here's what I have. 5 at 1. I actually have a bunch at 2. But are they the right mix at 2? 3 is pretty well represented. So my mana curve starts to get stuck at 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards at 5. And then 6 at 5. I didn't put these in there, I should have. So that's Probably where I'm kind of going wrong is at the 5 level. And then 6. I've got 5 at 6 and 1 at 7. And Phenax himself, of course, is 5. So I've got some things to work with. Let's take a look at the mana base. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8 islands, 2, 4, 6, 7 swamps. We've got Manamo, Urborg. Where's the coffers? I better put the coffers there, Borg. And coffers. Of course, coffers doesn't provide me anything unless I have swamps. I have 38 lands, but maybe the mix is wrong. I've got Bajuka Bog. I'm milling people. Might want to get rid of the graveyard. But I don't know. I've been taking these out of a lot of my decks because it comes into play tapped. I have to do it. When it comes into play, I have to exile somebody's graveyard. Sometimes I want to, but Nihil Spellbomb is better for that because I can use it when I need to. I'm not forced to do it when it comes into play. So Bog should probably come out. Ghost Quarter. Don't really need it. I just have it in here in case I do. Temple of False God. Gives me extra mana. I've got all those things at 5 and 6. Stronghold. Get creature back. Category Ruins. Maybe I should put a memory jar in here. Reliquary Tower. I'm not really drawing that many cards though. The ways I have of drawing extra cards are pretty much Rhystic Study and Arcanus, Consecrated Sphinx. Do I care? Do I want, if I make this more color dependent, do I want these colorless lands? Nykthos is good. Great with with all the stuff I have with colored pips. But maybe he doesn't need it anymore. Thawing Glaciers, slow, but effective. And if I have the Walking Atlas, it works. High market. Saves creature from exile. My multi-lands. Bad River. Okay, comes into play tapped, but it's another fetch land. Dreadship Reef. This is probably too slow. I don't have any proliferate effects in the deck. It's highly unlikely I would put any more proliferate effects in the deck. The only other deck I play something similar to this is Karavek. Karavek is slow, but he can deal with it. He's got a lot of early creatures. He's got a lot of screw with you cards. Direct damage. He's an artillery deck. Standoff and fight. I'm going to make Phenax more of a stand up and fight, more interesting creatures, more tricky creatures thing. I haven't really decided on that. I wanted to see what I wanted to cut first. I'll probably cut Dreadship Reef. Aqueduct comes into play tapped. This is kind of in here for Bajuka Bog, but I've never, ever, in all my years of playing, had one of these and bounced a Bog back to my hand. So I'm probably tired of trying it. I don't know if I want this in the deck anymore. I love the art. I like the way that John Avon on the Dimir Aqueduct, the art style looks different than the other Karoo lands from the same set from Ravnica. So I should stick another island or swamp in there. Do I want Ghost Quarter really? I don't know. Temple of False God, do I want that? Probably not. I probably need things that give me more color, because I still have 1 nothing land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They give me 6. They give me colorless. So if I keep with 38 lands, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7, 8. 8 out of 38. I only have 30 lands that produce color. That's probably not sufficient for this deck. So I either need to put something in here that gives me color, or I just need to go with more basic lands. So these 3 I'll take out for something. Let's look at the cuts. So are there any immediate cuts I should make? Early creature can block, screw with people. Let's take that out in favor of something more martial, either something more reactive, some other flavor of counterspell, or some other creature. Sphere, I don't have a lot of ramp in this deck. I'll keep that. Cavern Harpy. Do I even want the Intrude Alarm combo? It's not going to slow down my opponents that much because everybody is capable of casting a creature every turn now. So even if they skip untapping their creatures because of Intrude Alarm, they will play a creature and untap, and things just keep going as normal. So do I... Otherwise, she bounces a creature. Actually, I'll keep her because I'm going to put Venser in the deck. Mind Shrieker is still funny. He's part of the... I'll keep the combo. Counter Swimmer. I only have 3 counter spells. I'm going to put in Venser that will be pseudo 4 counter spells. How much of the milling do I want to keep? I'll keep this for now. Equilibrium. Take that out. 1,000-year elixir. It only works on activated abilities. I'll keep this in and I'll look at what else I have with activated abilities that I might want haste for. Oh, 4 counterspells. Forgot Psychic Strike. Good for exiling creatures. Kind of an early creature, helps devotion, decent toughness. I need more flyers though. I'll keep him in the first sweep. Protection from blue and green is pretty relevant. Gives people something to think about when they attack me. He's a high toughness, disallow. Ashiok stops fetch lands, stops people from searching for equipment. Activated abilities. I don't know. Car, keep Cherix, keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that. Take that out. Keep him. Copies a creature, and I can kill the creature he copies. Take that out. If I'm taking out things that cost 5 or greater, I won't need Thrix as much. But he is a flashy 4/5 flyer. Teferi, yeah, he's good. Scarab God. If he dies, I get him back. Take another turn. Morphling. This can get huge. That should be our Arcane Signet. That should be a different creature. Or a creature. Take him out. Not sure. Do I want this? Each opponent mills 8 cards. Spells kicked. Need another board wipe. I've checked to see if I have another damnation. Not sure if I want him. Untaps lands. I have Crystal Shard to bounce him back. Probably don't need him. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 obvious cuts of the main, 3 cuts of the lands. So I'm going to go through my collection and see what's better and show you.